Yes, people, what's happening? Nice one for coming back to the Fuse UK. It's much appreciated as always. Tonight we've got on the main man behind all the magic on these amazing events, the boss of the BKFC UK, Mr. Andrew Bakewell. How are you doing, mate? You good?
How you doing, Lou? Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Good, man. How are you feeling, mate, after that crazy weekend?
Tired?
Yeah, mate. I bet you are.
Yeah, it was good, cracking show. Everything went to plan. A few little hiccups here and there, but other than that, the main event was worth its ticket price alone.
Yeah, definitely, mate. 100%. Were you happy with the way everything went, though, on the night?
Yeah, pretty much, mate. Yeah, they're very stressful events. Everyone's just working their ass off for the full weekend as soon as we get there. Yeah, it went well, mate. Really happy with it.
It literally is non-stop, in it, with the weigh-ins and the fight day. It's literally non-stop all day long.
Yeah, it's crazy. Have you seen the work sort of the other guys do behind the scenes as well, mate? It's like it's a massive team effort. Like, I've got a good job, really. I don't envy them sometimes.
100%. And what was your thoughts on the venue? I thought it was an amazing venue myself. Like,
They were brilliant. Absolutely ideal for what we need. Just the whole setup of it, just everyone looking down, and just the seating arrangement around the ring was great. The atmosphere was unreal in there.
yeah, it was. It was unbelievable, and I couldn't believe how many Polish fans were there for the Polish lads with all the flags and that.
Do you know what? They made a massively good account of themselves, the Polish lads. I think we had Fiona, I think we had Bakewell, David Oscar, and Highlander, Damien Gorski from Gronda. But all three of them, you know what you're going to get with the Polish lads. They always come for, there's no quitting the lads. It's great having them over. They're welcome back at future shows on the back of them performances as well.
Yeah, like I say, like I met them over the weekend, sport of the teams and that. The lovely lads as well, aren't they? Like, you're expecting the dead rough and tough men. You don't expect them to be as nice and genuine as they are.
No, they tend to be. I went over to Gronda once, and everybody there was absolutely brilliant with us. Everyone was just really friendly and inviting.
And they literally put everything into the fight, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. They definitely come for a fight. Yeah, every single one of them. That Gorski was unreal, and the fight between Lee Brown and David Oscar was fantastic as well.
Yeah, unbelievable. Where they were just both stood there exhausted through giving everything in the fight. It was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's what we want to see from the lads. To be honest with you, when they come in and they get the opportunity to fight an event this big, it's a massive opportunity. I mean, if you look where Danny Christie's come in such a short period of time, it's if people come in and grab the opportunity with both hands, it's life-changing stuff. It's crazy when you see people come in and just kind of look for a way out on these events. They just never get invited back on.
I always say, like, when I'm on the podcast and that with some of the fighters, that's like trying to drill it in the head that they're only a couple of wins away from like being in title contention, 3-4 wins. Instead, like these boxing fights and that people are doing the 15, 20, 25 fights before they even get a sniff at an English title and that, you know what I mean?
I mean, these guys come in on decent money compared to pro boxing money.
100%.
They're the lowest, like the highest sort of minimum fee for any fighters, like in sort of like pro boxing, MMA, and any other sort of bare knuckle promotion about as well, and by far the highest top end. Like I said, if people come in and perform and just put like sort of go out on the sleeve and just leave it all in there, they'll start getting good money.
I mean, it's not about losing as well as it in the bare knuckle. It's not like if you lose, it's over. As long as you give a good account of yourself, you'll be known as a very good fighter, and you'll always be back. Do you know what I mean?
Look at Luke Nevin. He came in on an absolute tear up with Franco Tenaglia, ended up losing, but he just got into a dogfight. But it's not done him any harm whatsoever because he showed just massive amounts of heart in there and just got caught with a good shot in like the later rounds of an absolute war. So I mean, it's massive things to come from Luke Nevin as well. So great debut performance. He obviously had been a lot happier with getting the win, but putting in a performance like that's definitely not his future with the company.
Yeah, he's a lovely lad as well, Luke. And Franco Tenaglia, mate, he's a lovely lad too. And what a dog, mate.
He is, mate. He's an absolute beast. He's a great lad to work with as well. He's just a proper fighter. He just lives the life. Survives pretty much solely on money from fighting. So he's constantly trying to take fights wherever. I'm just trying to just needs to be put on a good path now. He's just trying to get some big fights. He deserves a big opportunity because his debut at Wembley was great.
Yeah, it's like 2-0 now, isn't he?
Yeah, and that fight on Saturday was unreal. Just he showed so much heart. You think he was down on the rounds a little bit, but just never quit. Just kept coming forward and just ended up getting the win.
Yeah, I seen an interview with him, and he says after the fight, he says, "I try not to lose my head in there, but when I get hurt, I get angry."
Yeah, he is crazy, but he's a nice bloke as well. I've got a lot of time for the guys. He just exactly what you want from the guys coming into this company, the promotion. Yeah.
And what did you think of Tom Scott's performance?
Unreal. Great to see. I don't think the last fight of Tom's was a honest performance of his. Not taking anything away from John. John fought brilliantly, but he was going through quite a bit of stuff in the background. Tom, so his heart went on it. That just showed the real Tom Scott this time. I think there's a great future ahead of him.
Yeah, definitely, mate. He's really talented. And Morgan Starkey.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
What a finish, mate. That was a min finish, that.
Yeah, it will, yeah. Yeah. To be fair, there were a few lads who came in and the undercard that impressed. There's Morgan Starkey. There was, Rob Cunningham looked massively improved. He's obviously been the hard work he's been doing in the background's paying off.
Yeah.
Aaron Blakey came in. He looked really strong and aggressive. He'll definitely be coming back on. The few lads were really impressed with, especially towards the lad. The few of the undercard was a little bit disappointing, but what can you do? There's not a lot you can do about that. You give some people the opportunity, and they just never be coming back. And some of the performances, some of them put out, but there's some great performances as well. Like Johnny Graham, he's going to be an absolute force in the sport, I think.
Yeah, that's Johnny Graham. I like that Johnny Graham. He moves well, doesn't he?
Yeah, it does, mate. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of James Lilly when he fought Tyler Goodjohn. How he was getting around his opponent. I think there's a lot more to come from that lad as well. We touched on Tom Scott. Gorski was an absolute war. You can't take anything away from Gorski. He's not the best boxer on earth, but he's one hell of a tough man, isn't he? He can fight.
He's you all night, won't he?
Yeah, mate. Yeah. They make fantastic fights. This is what you want to see. It's not traditional boxing. It's not all about pure clean fighting. It's that people want to see fights, like proper fights.
Yeah, definitely. What other than the main card, the main event, sorry, what fighter impressed you the most out of all the lads?
I think Tom Scott was unreal. There were a few good fights, right? I think Lee Brown, David Oscar was a fantastic fight. That really got the night started after a few unimpressive sort of fights below that. Well, not unimpressive, they just didn't go on very long. So all you can do that was like a 5-round war that we had.
I really like Lee Brown, mate. I think he's a proper good lad, and he just loves fighting as well, doesn't he?
Who's that?
Lee Brown.
He's great, mate. I think people forget. People think he's a lot more experienced than he is. He's had realistically 4 fights at the end of the day, so he's been around top level gyms all his life. He's just never put it into practice until now. He's really trying to change his life around, and he's kind of learning on the job. But I think he'll have a few months away now. Then we'll get him back out at the end of the year once he just needs to work on a few of his weaknesses. I think he's very strong there in the middle. Then he just needs to just learn. Just keep learning.
He's a very tough lad as well. It's not as if he's been beat in his fights. He's been beat, obviously, but it's been close, hasn't it? With Mason Shaw, it was a close fight. With the fight,
I think the Mason Shaw fight was just Mason was a much more experienced fighter. His game plan was great. He just executed it really well. Lee was up. Not a lot Lee could do on the night with some a guy of Mason Shaw's caliber, especially when he's on form like that. Then again, he just come up against absolutely rock hard David Oscar. I mean, there's just no fight. He hit him with some about 5 clean shots in the chin and just didn't even budge him. He was just a really good fighter. Both lads made a really good account of themselves. As neither of them can go away sort of disappointed on the back of that. Rico Franco looked unreal again. He's I think there's some big fights coming up for Rico next. We're just in talks about his next fight, which is hopefully going to be a big one.
Yeah, Christie. And what were your thoughts on having a legend like Ian the Machine Freeman as the MC for the night?
He's great. We've worked with Ian a few times over the years, and he's just a very professional guy. He's got credentials as well. He's like the first real big name in the UFC from Britain, wasn't he?
Yeah.
The first guy to beat Frank Mir. He's a legend in the sport. It's great to have him on. It'd be great to keep him with us as well. I'm not sure what the plans are going forward with. I mean, Jeff's a fantastic MC. But if they're planning on using somebody more regular for the UK, Ian Freeman would be the absolute perfect option.
And he interacts good with the crowd, and he gets them all going and interacting with the fights.
Yeah, he's good. He's great with the lads as well. He's familiar with a lot of the lads from. He's been in the fight scene for years, hasn't he? So people look up to him as well. He's a good guy to have part of the show.
Because we'll talk about the main event now, mate. What did you think of the main event?
Yeah, it was crazy, wasn't it? Yeah, just everything. But, you know, sometimes fights get hyped up like that, and they can let you down a little bit. Well, I think just in general, you know. And that one didn't in the slightest. I think you could watch that every day of the week, really. It was just crazy. I mean, I think Holmes was a few rounds ahead on the scorecards. His movement was great, and Danny was caught a bit on the way and opened his eye up. But then Danny just went for broke, didn't he? Danny's just an absolute warhorse. He's take a bullet to get that guy out of there. I think it's a great story as well. I mean, taking enough away from Holmes. Holmes is an absolute legend in UK bare-knuckle boxing. He's also a really good guy to work with. He's nothing but professional. Does everything by the book. He's just a great guy. But Danny's come from kind of nothing in the last year or so. His life was a bit all over the place, and he just grabbed an opportunity with both hands and just ran with it. And look where he's got him. He's going to be fighting for the world title next.
Is that actually happening?
What's that?
Is he fighting Lorenzo Hunt?
Depends what happens with Lorenzo Hunt. I can't say it's definitely going to be Lorenzo Hunt, but he's going to be fighting for the title next.
Oh, wicked, mate. And will that be in America?
I just don't know what the plans are with the light heavyweight division, because I know Danny's dropping down to light heavyweight. So whether Lorenzo's still the champion, he's got a shot at the champion next. That was in the contract. So.
Oh, wicked, mate. And would that be either whether it's in the UK or America, he's going to get a shot?
Yeah, I mean, it's early days with sort of talks about it, but I don't know. I think Danny might struggle getting in, from what Danny was telling me the other day. But I've heard he's trying to get his visa through. So if he gets a visa, mate, I'm pretty sure the Americans absolutely love to have him over there. And he deserves to get an opportunity to get out there as well. It's just a life-changing opportunity.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And when you were watching the main event, did you expect it to go the way it did? Did you expect him to finish him like he did?
Yeah, I kind of thought it would pan out the way it did, because Danny was never
going to take the fight. Getting there, couldn't you?
Yeah, Danny's he was always going to just take the fight to him, and Holmes is just, his fight IQ is great. His movement's great. He's very good at getting around the ring. He's just, I always thought it was either going to be sort of Holmes on points or Danny maybe by stoppage.
Yeah, every person you're asked as well, this, because it was that much of a big fight for the people who were in the bare knuckle world, everyone was like 50-50 when it was a 50-50 fight.
Hard to split them, really. I mean, if anything, on paper, Christie was the underdog, wasn't he? I mean,
yeah,
Holmes is a massively more experienced fighter. He's fought at the top level for quite a long time. Nobody's really caused him much bother. He got one draw, didn't he, against some American.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but yeah, he's got one.
Other than that, he's just looked. I mean, I remember watching for BKB, and he just looked unreal. He's just his movement, his style, and just brought something different to the table. And he's just a very tough bloke as well.
Yeah, definitely is, mate. And the next outing for BKFC is going to be on the 1st of July at Newcastle. Is that still the date?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah.
And can you tell us any information on that? I know it's a bit early and you can't obviously say stuff yet.
I can't give really anything away at the minute until it's probably all going to start getting released back end of next week, I'd have thought. But we've got some massive fights lined up for it. To be fair, a lot of the North East lads are itching to get on it. We've got a really strong card for that.
Because she's starting to build up now up our way, the North East and up north towards like Danny's way. A lot of fighters.
We've got loads of fighters from like the North East and even Yorkshire. That's just a massive base. It's just really taken off in both them sort of counties. More so than you get in Manchester and Liverpool, to be fair. We're just looking forward to just building it up over the next few years and just there's going to be some great fighters that come out of it.
Yeah, definitely. Is there any other places where you'd be going as well? Like, you're just going to do all the cities?
We're looking just to move it around to all the major cities at the minute. I can't really give too much away. We're just kind of trying to finalise some things within the next couple of shows after Cardiff. No, it was Cardiff. Newcastle. I mean, Cardiff is an option, but it's not confirmed yet. We might be getting moved somewhere else, but not until contracts are signed, mate. No, nothing can get released until then. But other than it's July 1st, it's going to be in the same place to walk it on. It was a great venue last time. Obviously, there's going to be for the last couple of shows. There's been a massive step up in production value, so it's going to look a lot more impressive than the first one was. Even though that was a great event in my eyes, to be honest with you, it was.
In my eyes, the Newcastle show was the best atmosphere show.
Yeah, it was 100%. Yeah, do you know what the thing is about the guys? You walk in there, it kind of looks. All the guys look a bit rough, but absolute cracking set of lads. There's
like football crowd, wasn't it? It was like a football crowd, like
yeah. But you know what? It was just great. Everyone was singing along all night. It was just one sniff of bother.
Yeah, class. That's what I thought. I actually thought there was going to be a bit of chew at this event, but it was amazing, mate. It was that much of a special moment. Even like Holmes' fans were coming up, like they were just shocked coming up with me. One of the Holmes' fans was just like, I thought Holmes was going to beat him, you know. And I really wanted Holmes to win. He said, but I've got to respect that man there for what he's done.
I think everybody had the same feelings, really, mate, because you can't really. They're very similar sort of guys, and they're both very humble. Like they speak their mind, sort of thing. Just very similar sort of guys with very different styles of fighting. So there's no sort of trash talking or anything leading up to the fight. You're just pretty respectful, but they're both very confident in their abilities and they're very vocal about it. There's nothing disrespectful about it. What either of them said about each other, they both kind of just don't mix the words, do they?
No, but they just go straight to the point, and they've had similar, like not like the same, but similar sort of backgrounds. They both had like their own troubles and things, having come back and
Holmes went through a fair bit of trouble when he was younger. And he obviously has as well. Like, to be fair, it's usually the story. Most lads who get to the top end of the fight, they usually don't have a particularly smooth ride going up, you know.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And massive weekend for the BKFC this week. Obviously, BKFC 41 with all the superstars turning over.
Crazy, it's just a massive step in bare knuckle fighting in general, isn't it? It's just it's a big leap, and it's crazy to see, mate. Because obviously, I mean, anybody who's been around the sport from the beginning, and when it was just in like car parks and people struggling to get venues and just to be really sort of the brawler sort of style fight, and they'd see these sort of names coming in like Luke Rockhold, Eddie Alvarez, Chad Mendes, Ben Rothwell, like Matt Perry. It's just crazy, isn't it?
Crazy, mate.
It's just going to build a sport massively. Nobody's doing this what David's doing. Like,
no. Still at the beginning as well, really.
What's that?
Still at the beginning as well, and putting these massive.
I'm still 10, 20 years behind MMA, but I mean, these are the moves that are going to like pay off dividends going forward.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And with the UK side of things, is it obviously you're not allowed to say if there is, but is there some more type of like stars turning over to the bare knuckle?
Yeah, we've got a few guys in talks with it at the minute. Can't really say anything about it, but I know there's a few really big names coming over the next few months or early next year.
Yeah, and
I think it's what it needs over here as well at the minute. I think we need to get the same investment in sort of top level ex-UFC guys that have been over to America just to bring the audience in. At the minute, it's still kind of a niche market, the bare knuckle boxing scene.
Yeah, definitely.
It's way behind sort of pro boxing and MMA, the UFC, the exposure that it gets. So it's, I mean, it's only going to go like grow from here.
Yeah, that's what it is. You need like the people with sort of big followings, like where they like the Chad Mendezes and that, where they're like, "Wow, Chad Mendez has turned over to bare knuckle."
I mean, this is the whole game plan. Obviously, we're trying to bring over the followings from the UFC, pro boxing. These have huge followings compared to like your standard known guy in like bare knuckle boxing doesn't have anywhere near the following somebody crossing over from like the UFC or top level like ex-world champion pro boxer. They've just had so much more exposure through TV. So it's unreal.
I just want to give a big shout out as well to Winwood Media. What a guy, mate! So talented.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I spent a fair bit of time with him. He had an interesting journey to the London event, man. Had all kinds of dramas with my phone breaking, car breaking down on the way home. It was a traumatic weekend, that.
What was this, on the way home from?
On the way back from London.
Off from London.
Motorway. It took me about 12 hours to get back to Bolton.
Oh, fuck!
Luckily, somebody come and picked Adam up on the way back, but yeah, it was a long day for me, that.
Oh God, what a nightmare! But it must feel good, mate, when you're doing these amazing shows, giving all these fighters the chances and opportunities, and making these events happen. It must feel good at the end of the night when people are coming up to you and telling you all these.
Yeah, you know what? It's a great feeling when we sort of sit down after it and we see how much of a sort of success and good reviews he's getting online. Because obviously we work tirelessly for months on end. My missus pretty much hates me because she's eyeballing me now from the just never off my phone, just constantly doing something. Just stop mid conversation to just answer a message, and yeah, it doesn't go down too well. It's just,
I couldn't imagine what your phone's like, mate. Obviously, everyone's wanting to be on the show. Everyone wants to know what's happening, and you're the man who's making it happen.
Yeah, but it's great. It's concerning when your phone stops going, really. So
yeah,
trying to take this to like the next level. So it's great for me. It's like makes my job a lot easier when I have all these top level fighters or guys that I just know are going to come in and do the job. Because obviously it's realistic, my reputation on the line. If I've sort of put some guys' name forward and they just sort of crumbling there, it's me who looks bad on it at the end of the day. So I really appreciate it when the guys coming in, like, give it all in there, and they deserve the opportunities that come on the back of it as well, and the money that comes on the back of it.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And obviously there's Wiggy, Hannah and Mark, they're also smashing the work that they're doing for the BKFC alongside you.
Yeah, there's the partners in the company. There's me, Mark, Darren, Wiggy, and Hannah works as she does all the running for the event.
Yeah,
it's a massive team event. It's not, I found, not just me like doing all the work. I have to deal with all the fighters and all the sort of day-to-day stuff. Mark's like pretty much, he's one workhorse, that guy, mate. He never stops him.
Yeah, you can see it and just see, mate, on the event that everyone's just all over and they're busy constantly.
Yeah, I mean, we've all known each other a fair bit of time. I mean, I've known Josh's family, sort of Darren and Mark's family, for years. So when I took this opportunity to sort of come on board with what we're doing, they have a big marketing company, see. They snapped my hand off, and me and Wiggy have run a gym together for years. We set up BFBA together years ago. Always just worked as a team.
Yeah, classmate. It's just grown and grown and grown, mate, and it's just going to keep growing.
Yeah. I can't wait to see where it gets to in the next 10 years, to be honest with you.
I can't myself, mate. But before we wrap it up, is there anything else you want to share with us, Bakewell? Any shout-outs, sponsors or anything like that you want to give a big up to?
Not off the top of my head, mate, no. My missus, before she shouts at me when I hang up.
No worries, mate. But we'll stay in touch like we always do, mate. And closer to the Newcastle event, we'll jump back on and give the.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Yeah, well, once we can start releasing the card, mate, I'll get back on and we'll talk through kind of what to expect from the fights we've got lined up.
Yeah,
so
sweet.
I'll keep in touch, mate. I'll give you a call in the week and have a catch up with you.
Yeah, perfect, mate. But I really appreciate you coming on tonight, mate, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah, you too, mate. Take care of yourself, Lou.
See you later, Andy, mate.
Bye,
mate. Bye. Yes, people, nice one for tuning in. It's much appreciated. The main man, Andrew Bakewell, making all these events happen. Smash. Let's go. 1st of July, Newcastle. You know where it is. If you can't make it, download that BKFC app. $7.99 a month. All these fights in action, all included in $7.99 a month. It's a no-brainer. For example, you have BKFC. Was it 38 or 39? I know they missed an event with Dap Nguyen and Daniel Strauss. That was on Friday, yeah? You had Danny Christie versus Anthony Holmes versus Danny Christie on Saturday. You've got BKFC 41 coming up this week with Mike Perry versus Luke Rockhold, Chad Mendes and Eddie Alvarez, Ben Rothwell, Who else have you got? I can't think of the name. Christie Ferrier versus Becca Rawlins. But yeah, it's a stacked event. There's loads, so make sure you go ahead and do that. Yeah, but nice one for tuning in. Good night.